Carl wants to blink in. We got a Doom. There we go. Thunder will call it. GG. They know they can't do anything else, and it's just time to give up. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them. I would have folded them on the high ground triangle attempt, completely whiffing there. Tier 1 was just not in the mood to take any prisoners today whatsoever.
Yep. The stun up. The Inferno Blade, perfectly timed. Moves might just die to the Scorched Earth. No, it's going to be plenty of time to finishes him off. They did silence the Gyrocopter. Now going for Wu, who has no supernova, so now he's kind of vulnerable. Inferno Blade the Gyro, but they did pin Ricky to the wall, which means Savage's going to fall. But Mino's also dying here to Cuckoo, zooming past him. Welcome back, guys. We're here in ESL One Fall 2021 boot camp edition powered by Intel, and we're watching Thunderbird versus T1 in the second game of the series. In the first game, we saw ITP that just couldn't quite cut it with their draft. Again, a bit all over the place, but a very confident T1 with some raptor.
It's hard to do. This is a tournament. You're getting, with your new coach, thrown into a pressure environment immediately. Like,
it's not easy to decide on, oh, this is what we're going to do now. You're supposed to have time for that process. You don't right now. But at the very least, as far as I can see from the draft, I don't know if you guys can see it, they are definitely sticking with a very familiar pairing right now. So we're going to go into
and like the last time, it's not even that their draft didn't cover all angles. It's just that, you know, there's a couple of ridiculous picks right now, and you got to take those into account. You can craft yourself a beautiful ice sculpture, but sometimes there's just a mammoth coming straight at you. Well, what you gonna do? Artistry doesn't matter much.
Well, that is the most Finnish reference you could give me. So,
Sorry, I was looking out the window.
As a Spaniard who's currently living at 33 degrees, I don't know what to mean with carving ice sculpture. It's just water for me at this point. but yeah, I agree with your point. It's tough. I think Thunderbird seemingly is finding their ground a bit more, though, because this draft looks like last draft, just better, right?
Yes.
They haven't changed gears, which is good currently for Thunderbird.
Yeah. And it's going to give you some space to, at the very least, talk about what actually happened in the gameplay this time. All right, we're doing the... You just got to standardize the drafts so that you can actually get to the point where, like, all right, we tried this twice now, it went wrong twice in the same way. We can be pretty sure now that, you know, this was a problem.
Is going to die to 23 Savage? No, not quite. Okay, so that's interesting. So that's why you think that, if anything, even if this ends up being a loss, it's a valuable educational experience regardless for Thunder, who need to stabilize before TI. Okay.
Yeah, and especially more valuable than doing another wild draft and losing again would be. Like another wild draft and winning would be nicer, of course, because maybe you're on the road to finding something that works. But at the same time, since you're changing too many variables at the same time, this is not science. Are we supposed to know what made the difference?
That's true. You gotta keep those constants in check. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Or controlled variables for those of you that are the big British nerds.
I mean, and you've got enemies doing that for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're set stable.
And this time they did change their draft completely. I mean, this is T1 is definitely experimenting this patch to a degree. I mean, the Ricky carry I think is a bit experiment, but I'm excited to see. There's actually, I know 23 Savage is now known for these like really stable carries and everything, but it used to be known for the crazy ones particularly. And for Spectre and his like crazy jobs and the way they used to play was, I think the Ricky does suit at least his old play style.
Wild Morphling days.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah, the wild Morphling days. Which he still plays, mind you. I mean, SEA, everyone. It's kind of like the badge of honor. Right? You don't reach 7k unless you play Morphling. Yeah, Frank's gonna die. Relatively easy kill for Whitemon, who just harassed him to death. He stayed there a bit too long. And Frank is gonna be a bit sad. If he felt emotions, Frank's actually a robot, no big deal.
This is the benefit of Ricky. If you can actually keep the aggression up, and he's just really using all of his Blink Strike charges constantly. Like, Mars... not actually that much armor, as we said before. You're bringing quite a bit of physical.
Yep, that's true. And Ricky, on the other hand, a lot of armor. Why?
Because otherwise he's completely useless.
No, I get it in game balance, but look at, like, he's pretty much naked. He's a rat. Have you... At least his design should have a little bit more armor on him. It's all I'm saying, Kips, okay? It bothers me that Kips, that he has so little armor. Or so much armor. Him and Naga are the biggest offenders.
Biggest offenders, yeah.
Yeah.
On the bottom
Carl's
lane,
having fun.
yeah. It's going to be pretty hard for the TA to harass him out, and he's going to match fairly well on farm thanks to the Devour.
Carl's just walking through, he doesn't care. You talked about last game being a non-interactive lane. I think this game sends through as well with the Doom, right?
Well, non-interactive is taking a lot of hits.
Oh, you're right, actually. I spoke too soon. Carl, he's baiting him out with a bottle, and Leo's going for it. Carl, you're baiting out the wrong region, my friend. Leo is not afraid to hit you.
I thought he was just getting his bottle delivered, and that's why he was playing up, but no, that is an empty...
Minos down bottom? Is he gonna die to Cuckoo? No, actually, with a whole missile. They're trying to turn this around. There's no search on Cuckoo just yet, which means he's killable. Rocket Barrage straight for Shepard, but Shepard had an ion shell that you can't see because it's under the saddle. So Minos gets surprised as Shepard trying to outrun this Phoenix, and Wu hits the last Fire Spirit. With the Tango, though? With a Tango, he's actually getting out of this one alive, Shepard. One more Fire Spirit.
Oh.
Shepard fights back, trying to go for the kill, but it's not gonna be enough damage. Close, though.
What a hero. And I do mean guy here, not actually the hero. That's just, I am going down guns blazing.
That's very impressive. I didn't think of using the Iron Shell plus Snapfire interaction to hide it, but that was pretty cool. I don't think we'll realize, or Minos realized until it was too late.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't think that was quite intentional. I mean, with Snapfire, you just have a great combination. You have a very tanky hero there. She's going to stick very well on top of her enemies as well with that cookie. So you get a lot of harass damage out of that just naturally. The fact that you can't really see it is a nice bonus.
It's the only one thing that you can use with the support, range support here with the Darkseer, right? At least you have to have some sort of trick up your sleeve.
Yeah, interesting by the way. I thought that Minos especially versus the Darkseer, was going to go for the Flak Cannon max in stats for sure. But this is Rocket Barrage. I think he's adapting to the fact that he has a TA who's going to be taking stacks, and he needs to be doing more laning and fighting.
I like that idea. Yeah, that's good. And that fixes some of the problems you were talking about, right? Where like TA will be able to at least farm her first item, you play with Gyrocopter until then TA can fight, maybe she goes for Blink Dagger first, as you explained.
Yep. Then you sort of, you do a baton pass back and forth a couple of times. You get an item, no, I get an item, no, you get an item. It's like the drafts that work that way are usually very elegant. It looks very good. And talk about that.
Cool. Yeah, the elegant jump is not going to be enough to save him as Minos playing this really aggressively. And they also spear, by the way, Ricky up the top lane, but Savage has a way to escape, so he should be, well, spoke too soon. Telekinesis him back, Whitemon here to help him. Link strike to his ally, he's fine. I agree, by the way, those are my favorite drafts. I think Thunder is used to this, though, because Minos is aggressive carry, and Leo style is a greedy mid, so...
Yeah, it sounds right up their alleyway. Kara is like, no, if you come close to me, I'm going to take your refraction off. This rune's mine.
Yep. Has not taken the point in Doom yet. Oh, he's actually going to max the power first, so it's going to be the I go Midas, I farm on my Doom.
Yep. I mean, we know he has the space. He knows he has the space.
Do you need to do something as T1? Oh, actually, sorry, as Frank dies, there's the Hex, a bit more damage for the Savage, who just hit level 6, so he's going to get a double kill then.
Absolutely excellent. Yeah, that's a lot of extra damage over on the ultimate. 1.4 times multiplier, and of course the Mars, well, it doesn't even take Bulwark in this lane because it's not going to do anything for you.
Nope. So as T1, are you pressured to do something early or just wait for the Ricky timings here?
I think you're good taking it later. We might be in for a pretty passive game here from both sides. Thunder Predator needs the time. Tier 1 can decide what they want to do. They can either run early with some form of Darkseer and one of the other two cores combination. Depends on if Carl is, for example, rushing a BKB or not. We're going to see that pretty soon, as soon as he decides to put something in his quick buy. Come on, Carl. But they at least have that option. And for Thunder Predator, it's way harder because you really only have 3 heroes to get active with. T1 can decide what they want to do, how slow or fast they want to take it, and they are not rushed. They have very decent matchups here.
Okay. What does that do psychologically to the players? Do you think that puts them at ease when they know they can play this way?
Yeah, probably. I often don't feel that way, but I've found that a lot of teams, especially in pressure situations, just prefer to take it light. Items are very much a way to feel comfortable about what you're doing. Like, it's your feedback from the game that you're making progress.
Okay. It's an interesting take. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because items also give you more options in team fights. You can do more things with items. Right.
It's empowering. And if you play up, if you take the initiative, then if you fail, it also feels way more like it's your mistake. There's some psychological components there at work where I tried to make teams play faster, and as a result, yeah, the things that lost us games were mostly things that we did. And even though that is technically good because you're taking initiative, the game is in your hands, you know, it was yours to lose, it feels worse because it's very clear that you did it and not something the enemy did to you.
That's very interesting, actually.
Listen, man, I could talk for hours about how insanely fast OG trains and how I think it's empowered them to take a lot of slower games while still playing with a lot of pressure in tournaments later.
Okay.
Because they're so used to playing fast.
So, my follow-up question as we watch this game develop is, does that mean that when you have a lot of these games where you control the tempo and you, say, make these mistakes and they're yours to lose, does that decrease the confidence of teams?
Yeah, it does. Because you're very clearly getting confronted with the evidence that you're doing things wrong.
Okay.
Whereas, you know, if you take a game late and they just farmed harder or something, like, where did you make the mistake?
23 Savage just avoided that arena like a god, but he's back into it. Oh no, Savage! This Rubik puts him back in the toy box. Savage gets away once again. Savage doesn't want to stay here and play, but Leo Styles not giving him this chance. He just needs one more hit, but they have no more dust. Savage lasted long enough, and instead they actually killed Minos in the bottom lane with Carl. So it ends up being a huge win for T1. That is massive.
It's massive. I can't believe how tanky he was just now.
Honestly. He has Orbital Corrosion Kips. He has nothing. He has all his base armor. Okay.
It's just base armor, and yeah, that does do wonders when the main damage dealers in that fight are the Mars and the TA.
Yep. Moose, there's the cookie, tricks the trade. Moose is as good as dead, and Savage is skating away. Nope. If there's someone that's gonna make me change my opinion on Ricky Carey, it's gonna be 23 Savage, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, he's making this look really good right now. He's still not over the hill. He needs the diff you. But he's making good progress now.
Yep. So he's not going to go for the Mage Slayer. I think it's... I don't think that's the right build up. Like, I agree with your point about the Fusible Blade and Mage Slayer just being kind of the same item, but...
They're too close together. If the Mage Slayer is cheaper still, then you can get it in a way to brawl your way towards the Mage Slayer. But again, brawling your way towards something on Ricky... Like, if you mess up, it's your mistake. If you just farm, it's not.
Right, it's true. And then you can always go, well, at least I was farmed.
Yeah. And in a lot of pubs, it is the correct decision to be farming creeps instead of heroes. But, you know, in pro games, if they leave a Phoenix sitting out there, just like that.
Yeah, it feels worse. Yeah. I get that. That's an interesting psychological component. It's actually been mirrored in a lot of sports, by the way. That's why people take safe shots even though they're wrong. Mm-hmm. In baseball, for example, bunts, which is when you just try to take your bat and not even actually try to hit the ball, they're almost always statistically incorrect. The players still do them because they don't want to look bad.
Yep. Because the second serves in tennis as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Players tend to give those way easier than is strictly necessary.
Yep. Because they just don't want to look bad in front of the audience. Something that happens is even the component of being watched. I bet if you were in a pub and you knew that nobody was watching, it'd be a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I think that the best Dota of the year is usually not played at TI. Too many people watching.
Yeah, that pressure mounts up. Carl?
There's too much money on the line.
He has the haste rune right now, by the way, plus a surge. So Carl is happy, but he's not fighting the Centaur creep.
Crimson Guard. Yeah, this gyrocopter. He's nearly got an Aghanim Scepter, actually. Minos is doing very well on the farm, but it's not going to add all that much damage for him in the team fights. It's still a farming item. Because Carl is going to be very tanky.
Yep. And in fact, Leo's also not going for the Blink Dagger that we suggested, but rather just Desolator. So, 2 farming heroes.
I mean, they're getting the space, right?
Right. Yep. So maybe T1 can now put pedal to the metal and start to really pressure them with the Doom.
Yep, so for me, pedal to the metal timing will always be the Aghanim Scepter on the Darkseer, and they're still a little bit away from that. If this was a mid-Darkseer, they would have been there by now, but most of the farm has gone to this Doom. So it's going to be Blink Doom, Aghanim's Darkseer. On that timing they're going to go, and that's actually going to be Deso for the TA as well. Thunder Predator is doing a really good job of making the absolute most out of the space that they're being given.
Yep. We'll see when this turnaround happens. I also think Carl is desperately trying to find the Centaur, and he's been really unlucky. I cannot believe, honestly. This is the hardest part of playing Doom, which is finding the Centaur Conqueror and just RNG screwing you over.
You have no control over that.
It's so frustrating.
It is. It is. Oh, do you want a neutral items rant?
Oh, yeah. So did you write that in chat when we mentioned it earlier?
Oh, I just I laughed really hard.
I knew you were having it.
We just both really rolled off our chairs laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that with the Doom, one of the things that this leads as well is, do I use my Devourer or do I wait for the Centaur to come up just to see? Right? And then there is that moment, that breaking point where you think, I need this stuff.
It's
like
there.
It has to
It's there.
Oh, he got it.
Yes.
8 seconds. Yeah. Hit the small ones. Hit the small ones, Carl. You know you want to eat this. This is the most hype part of the game, guys. If you're an SCA fan, the Centaur's eaten.
And it's exactly the blink timing as well. Mwah.
Yeah, honestly, chef's kiss execution here by Ice Rock. Cuckoo also almost has the Ags, actually. Pretty big deal.
Yeah,
very
Riki
huge
Diffuse coming in.
Oh,
Triple
wow.
power spec. We can 5v5 this. I think both teams are ready for that. The TA is going to be... She's going to have the last Mithril Hammer by the time we get there. And then, of course, the Aghanims is online on MNZ. Blink, no blink for the Mars. This is the problem. Carl is up.
The Phoenix. Okay, it's just blowing up. Easy. Woo's down.
Down for the count. And now T1 have no need to stop anymore. This game can go very fast all of a sudden. You see them TPing to bot? They're immediately angling for more kills. He wants to get as much mileage out of this diffusal as possible. Scans on the money though.
That's a very good scan. Thunder Predator using Vietnamese lines because that's going to put T1 out. It's like, what? Are we back in SCA?
Trying to awaken the SCA instincts.
Yes. Throw, please. Actually, in competitive, they don't do that as much, to be honest. It's actually... No. And in pubs, they do play till the end. If you guys ever have a chance of playing in SCA.
Like, they'll call you every name under the sun. I've had people misinterpret this statement. I'm like, they never give up and are like, well, no, they're always assholes. I'm like, yeah, but they play on.
That's true. They are always up.
Way worse shit than in Europe. And they will say they're not.
Yes. And if you sound even remotely like someone that's not from like one of the main countries, they will destroy you.
Oh, yeah. I just don't open my mouth. Carl is on top of Leo style right now.
Boom. Alright, there we go. Go for Leo style with a supernova immediately. There's the Mortimer Skitsis. Leo is not going to survive this. Woo supernova does nothing. In comes Minos trying to help out, but it's too late. You've already lost your mid. Carl has a Blink Dagger and the Stomp, but does he want to reinitiate here? They're evaluating their options. Maybe the Rubik? Maybe the Rubik? Surge Carl, definitely the Rubik. Get the stun up. Inferno Blade, perfectly timed. Moose might just die to the Scorched Earth. No, it's going to be 20 times to finishes him off. They did silence the Gyrocopter. Now going for Wu, who has no supernova, so now he's kind of vulnerable. Inferno Blade the Gyro, but they did pin Ricky to the wall, which means Savage is going to fall. But Minos also dying here to Cuckoo, zooming past him. He has the Iron Shell still on him. A Cuckoo hits by those Fire Spirits. He's going to die to Wu. He got a bit too cocky there.
What a slaughter. But yeah, that 300 extra health from the Iron Shell, you don't see that but that is one of the reasons that T1 stays alive as long as they do in that game. Oh, Carl? Oh, no. This was a one fight right up until this moment.
We do have a stomp. We have the Infernal Blade on top of this. Scorched Earth used. They bring him back. Oh, no. They bring him forward onto Leo. Another great spear. Frank. That's why they call him the android. He just doesn't miss. There's a machine.
And thanks to all of these dives, T1 have actually not taken down any towers yet. So Thunder Predator can just teleport the gyrocopter into the mid lane immediately, back up this Roche attempt. You might have to buy back the Doom for this. Arena's still on CD for a little bit though.
We have vacuum and wall though, maybe. Okay, 23 Savage from the side. There's the wall, actually really good. Called under 3, vacuum back in into the Koki with a finger of death. But Frank brings Whitemon back into the pit. Is that going to be enough? Yes, because 23 Savage now stuck. Frank maybe a bit too strong because the trade won't last long enough. Savage will die. Supernova just for kicks. And T1 will lose 3. Now, yes, you have your Doom back in, but not, well, maybe a chance. Doom is ready. Carl tried to use it, telekinesis in time. Someone save Leo, but he gets hit by the Doom. And the illusions is going to be enough. They have to deny him. Leo won't be able to survive this. They do deny him at least. They do doom the Doom. But if someone dooms the Doomsbringer, who dooms the Rubik? Not even needed. He is dead already. Earthsplake for Frank. And Frank will also fall.
You could see by Cuckoo's angle there that he was going for the rune, not for the hero. He knows if I stand next to him, he dies. So of the utmost importance here is the money.
Indeed. Cuckoo knows. Wu nearby, he's like, well, my team is dead, but maybe I can be useful. And he is indeed, because they can't take down Roshan just with the fire spirits on. He has one last spirit. There we go. And they're just waiting for Savage. Sunray will do nothing. Cuckoo actually wants to get the kill on Wu. Wu had the Icarus dive, he's gonna be fine. But the Roshan ends up going the way of T1.
They're really wiggling their way out of this one. I think the only problem that Thunder Predator have at this point, and it's incredible that they don't have farm issues. So they definitely farmed their way out of that pretty well, but now they're still on cooldown notice, because they have the better AoE control here, but it's all tied up in these big abilities, this Supernova, this Arena, that normally I would not be talking about Arena cooldown, but it's over a minute now. There's more than 3 creep waves spawning and meeting each other. It's quite a lot of time in the Dota world, whereas the set of T1 can go pretty much all the time.
That's true. I mean, yeah, Doom is nice, right? But as long as you have the vacuum, honestly. You have vacuum Earthspike, vacuum Cookie, which we just saw that fight was really impactful.
Beautiful. Yep. Hey,
hard to hit.
Carl, most of all, is just a really big bully right now.
Yep. The Doom is
He's
just an
close
extra.
close to 3k effective HP when he's got that bloody ion shell on top of him and so on. Now he's surged too. This man's a menace. You remember when there's no cap on that?
Yep, now you find the TA. Leo style refraction melts much like yourself. And Leo style will go down without him.
Minos!
Oh no. That's gonna be the 2 cores down. They're both trying to farm and they both just fall. That's not it. That's not what you're supposed to be doing, Thunder.
That's why you gotta be handing it over. Got to be going for it the same. But then again, at this point you can't anymore, right? Because T1 is going to be running at you with 5 heroes as they have demonstrated as soon as they hit that timing.
They bring down Wu as well. I mean, T1 is just unstoppable right now, and Thunder doesn't seem to have any options to bring back the space into the game. Is Carl pretending to Doom a creep? Yes, he is. Oh,
Love
Carl,
this
you
guy.
are.
And he was diving the tier 2 with the tier 1 still up.
Yep.
You gotta have some flair from theatrics while you're out there. Hey, some of these players know that they're in the entertainment business. Leo Style's in the dying business.
Oh, Leo style. How are you gonna make it out of this one? You're not. That's the answer. Okay, well, that was easy.
No.
It is the 3rd time he's died in a row, pretty much.
So now you didn't get the Roshan, you're going to lose access to your own jungle as well. Gyro is still struggling his way towards the BKB. But even then, the problem with that BKB is that you still don't have burst damage. You're going to have all these tanky heroes running at you, and I do very much mean the Ricky here as well, with that ion shell, with all of his stupid armor. He is not all that impressed by a gyrocopter flak cannon.
Is there a turning point here for TP? Like, is there a moment where they can actually start and fight, or is T1 just going to keep running them down?
Can T1 executes this well.
Oh,
no, they don't have place to make.
Okay. Oh, that's the answer, as they just killed 2 people. I don't even think they needed kisses, but why not?
That's the no-till answer, right? It's like they don't have place to make right now. If your enemy doesn't have any place to make, it means that you can do whatever you want, and the best option is pedal to the metal. T1 is doing they're just, once again, textbook execution. They did that the previous game here. Like, I love casting games like this. I can tell everybody at the start of the game, all right, this is how they're going to play it, because these are the timings they're going to hit. And then they do it, and they just don't stop. And I love watching it unfold.
Because you know they're playing correctly if they're doing that.
Yeah, like, the coach in me is very much like, oh, guys, I'm so proud of you.
And Thunder is trying to go
this
for...
This might be an issue. Oh, no, it is not.
It is not. It was a Hail Mary play, but they might still be able to find someone. Let's see.
They're already grouping.
Nope. Yeah, they're grouping, and they know they can't go into the triangle because they would lose high ground advantage. All right, well, Thunder just goes into the enemy triangle because this is the classic, we smoked. I guess we'll do something with this.
Yeah, I mean, this is the way that EG would try to recover from a game where economically behind. Oh, snap, Carl just went in.
Okay. And that's going to be Frank 10. Arena used, though, before that. Doom, we did get Boston. They just took down Moose and Leo style. Either made out of paper. At least Cuckoo. No, yeah, he's taking damage for a second, but it's just going to be an easy kill onto the Phoenix. One last one on the gyrocopter. And it's a win for T1. Another team wipe for them. And not even that hype because they just styling over Thunder. Thunder doesn't have any options these fights.
They don't. I mean, the play that they make there is absolutely the correct play. So what EG normally do is, because their lineups are not very good at making plays normally, they're very much economics team. So what you do is you position in a place that you can hold, and then you dare the enemy to engage into you, and you hope that they do that sloppily or overconfidently, and especially EG usually has the tools to make a stand. This Thunder Predator lineup, between the arena and the egg, it's possible. But they were not really in position yet. They weren't holding all of the viewpoints at the outside of the triangle. So Carl just gets to jump up and say, this is not actually your place to hold this fight. This is ours. And that throws the entire plan into disarray. Like, when you can't make plays on, blinking in and disabling somebody, you need to make plays on positioning. That was the attempt. It was a good attempt. I wonder if that's a touch of fear influence there.
What, the play on positioning based on what Fear's taught them? Okay.
It's possible. But he mentioned that somewhere.
All right.
Because he knows what EG does.
And EG does that.
EG does that. There's a video, and Clem's listening right now. And I'm supposed to be putting out about this stuff, but I've just been too busy.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not judging you. Clem is, and I'm not. And Clem can't speak, so it's fine.
Shout out to production.
Yes.
The real heroes.
Except Clem, he is not a hero. Unfortunately, many years, he is not a hero. Anyway, as you will probably draw something on the map now. But we're gonna get T1 to take over the triangle. Carl to initiate. Is Carl even afraid of death right now? Apparently not, because he just hits the creep.
He has not been. Look at how they just peel apart this positioning of Thunder Predator. There's nothing they can do.
No, Minos. That's Minos dead again. The Supernova is used defensively, but they don't care about the Supernova. That's to activate the BKB to not get killed, and they just kill off Moose and Frank like they're nothing. Carl wants to blink in. We got a Doom. There we go. Thunder will call it GG. They know they can't do anything else, and it's just time to give up. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them. I would have folded them on the high ground triangle attempt, completely whiffing there. T1 was just not in the mood to take any prisoners today whatsoever.
Yep. I mean, T1 just destroyed them, right? The execution was a bit better. They really harped on the weaknesses for Thunder Predator's draft. I mean, You touched a bit on this in the beginning with Rocket Barrage Gyrocopter, right? Like, oh, he'll big space, but isn't really how Thunder played, and it just felt like TA and Gyro were farming perpetually all the time, and they kind of got in each other's way.
Yeah, they did, and then they especially got in the way of Frank as well. This is one of the problems when you run a real like dual carry lineup, is you're not just taking a lot of farm from each other, but also from the one guy who can buy you more time. Whereas in these very much solo carry lineups that we see a lot recently, you can heavily prioritize your playmaker's farm in order to make sure that he can buy you more space. This is something that we saw much more of in the first game, where we get a very poor Faceless Void who just has all of the time in the world to catch up because the rest of his cores are very farmed and are lengthening that game for him and giving him time to farm. That's also something that you can't do with this greedy of a draft. So I was very much on board until that Gyrocopter comes in. It's rough though, because I did like this draft more than the first one, and I think you can still iterate on this.